Well, we're going to have to do a voiceover on this one because it was super duper windy. And that would have been annoying to listen to. And that little buzzing you hear in the background is some fans I got blowing around the room here. Um, they're not going to be annoying. Not near as annoying as the wind outside. So you're going to come along with me as I hike these trails. Pretty well groomed trails, as you can see. I still spray with tick spray on my feet. And then I'll keep an eye on just in case anything crawls up. I do have shorts on this particular day, so I would feel them sometimes. Now, I ride around on a zero-turn lawnmower all day long, and I mean literally almost all day long. So my hips get pretty sore from bouncing up and down and banging into ruts. Yeah, a couple trees fell there. That one right there looks like it's about ready to. Wonder if anybody heard it. There's a lot of oak trees in here, in the whole park. This is Glendalough State Park. So anyway, back to the reason I'm here. This really stretches me out. I'm just walking down here to the boat launch so you can see the lake real quick. And then we're going to start hiking up the hills. That was my cat in the background. Cali cat. But yeah, because I sit on a lawnmower all day, boy, I get stiff. So sore. Basically in one position. Pretty good fishing here now and then. Depends on time of year and weather and all that. You can rent that boat right there. You can go to the main office and tell them you want to rent that boat and go through the whole procedures and da-da-da, and there you go. You can go out on that lake with that boat. But I've got bass there, a lot of sunfish when the warm of the summer comes. June, July, August. There's bass in there. There's mussel. I think, yeah, there's muskie in that lake too. That little lake, but it's deeper, much deeper out in the middle, of course. That was just one particular flat that you were looking at. And you can rent those paddle boards and kayaks. Same deal. They're on their lock. You just tell them which one you want, and they'll give you the code. They do mow and groom these trails often, quite often. Now, depending on the time of the year you come here, you could get bombarded with deer flies, I'm not going to lie. And them puppies, boy, they get a hold of you. Whew. Yeah, we had to just climb right through this. Not a big deal. They'll have that cleaned up in no time. That obviously just happened over the weekend when we got all the rain. Or no, not this last weekend. This last weekend it was in the 90s, super hot. I went nowhere. But we did have a bunch of rain just before that and wind. Yeah, that's why I'm out here today doing these hikes. It looks nice because it really is. It's about 74, somewhere in there. But windy, really windy, and the high 20s for wind, so you'll see when we get up here on the top of this. The wind will be blowing a little bit more of the grass. Yeah, every now and then I'll stop and adjust the camera because I'm looking at that bird. For all you bird watchers, you can tell me what kind of bird that is. Zoom in on it. It's funny, when I was hiking this, I told myself I'm not going to hike any harder than I have to be able to breathe through my nose. If I have to open my mouth to breathe, that means I'm hiking too fast. Because I just didn't want all the heavy breathing on audio. And here I am doing a voiceover, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. My cat's excited. She's getting into trouble. You can hear her in the background now and then. She has a perch that looks out the window and she sees hummingbirds in the flowers and she gets nuts. Truthfully, I'm not sure what I was pointing out there, but that is the main gate entrance way back where I was pointing. This is Molly Stark Lake that you're looking at. It's the first lake of 3 in the park. We'll be heading right over there into those trees. But yep, down that road is the main gate in. Someone leaving after a fun day there. There's a lot to do here in this park. If you like water sports especially, you can rent boats and all kinds of boats that float, from kayak to fishing boats. Not big bass tracker type fishing boats, but that boat you've seen me show you earlier. You can also rent bicycles. We're coming up on the bicycle trail right now. It's all paved. It's a little over 6 miles, I believe, the entire loop. This right here is the bike trail. I do believe I get out here and give you a view of it going along the roadway. Yes, right there. Now it doesn't all go along the roadway like that. It actually goes around that lake that you've seen, that one right there. It goes all the way around that. And then the other lake also, that's to the left of that lake, and then swoops back around and joins again. But like I said, I'm hiking this trail because it's got the most hills, the most steep hills. And I really needed to stretch my lower back. It's a fun trail to hike. Back in my high school days, this would have been a great cross-country running course for practice. Plenty of off-camber, up and down hills. Pretty soft terrain though. It's pretty much all grass. See a lot of deer in those oak trees depending on the time of day you're in there. You go later in the evening and really be quiet, you can see a lot of deer walking through there, especially in the fall. Do a turnaround just to show you the amount of steepness it is. Usually I do that when I'm hiking up and I know I'm about halfway. I'll turn around and give you a view of how far you've come and of course how much further you have to go. Well, like I said, I'm taking my time, that's for sure. I am continually breathing through my nose the whole time. I'm not a real old guy, but about a year and a half till retirement. There's a nice view of the entrance down there and back into the lake that we looked at earlier. We're a little higher than the other hill we were standing on. But yeah, that building way down there is where you self-pay. There's no one in there. That's not the main office. That's just a gate to check in kind of thing. A lot of people just blow by that and go into the office and do what they need to do because there's an actual person in there. There's a restroom down there and probably some maps and stuff like that, but that's it. A good majority of Glendalough is that right there, the grassy plains. And you would be surprised how many deer are laying out there right now. As well as many other critters. There are trails that go out through that and end up further up into the park. Now we didn't do that today just because I wanted to do the loop through these oak trees. We're on the outskirts of the oak trees right now. Pretty soon we'll swoop back around and cut back through them and hike right into them. I do have the camera stabilization on. It's just my stride. That would actually be a really good spot to see deer. If you sat there really still, you would see many deer walking through those grasses to get down to that lake in the evening, and vice versa in the morning. Now this trail does continue up further, so you could get a really good workout and take the longer loop all the way up to the top and come back down and around. I chose not to because I knew that the video would be super long anyway, doing a full length. This is unedited. I'm watching it and doing the voiceover right now, live. Well, not, I mean, not live, because I'm not live doing it there, but as I'm watching it, I'm doing the voiceover. You can see that it continues up right here. You can take a left. But what you see is pretty much all you'll see. It goes up and then it ties into another trail that swoops back around, and you'll see where that comes out, because it joins right back into this one that we're on right now. I should have done it for the exercise, but like I said, you know, this is a 46-minute video now. That extra 20 minutes would have put it over an hour. It would have been 20 minutes because I would have taken my time, because this scenery up there is a lot nicer, because you get to see way out into the plains on the other side. Interesting to think that if you let your lawn grow, that's what it would look like. If I stepped foot off that trail and started walking through that grass, I would have ticks all over me. That's the 90% of the reason why they're groomed, is to keep the ticks off you. And the mosquitoes. I think that's where the trail come out. Yeah, right there. You can see it in the bottom corner here. But there's the plains, the big grassy plains. It's even bigger on the other side. But yeah, you got to go up there to really see it. But this is the most interesting part, and obviously I was excited to get to it because I didn't show much of the plains. I just took a right and off we go. But on a hot summer day, you come down into this trail. So nice. Yeah, you can see a lot more of the plains there. And that's the trail coming down into where we're standing. And there's a lake on the other side of those trees. A big lake. Bigger lake than the one we were looking at earlier. This is a very popular trail in the fall when the leaves all change. Yeah, I keep adjusting the camera because I keep forgetting I'm going up and down hills, and you're not getting a real perspective because I keep forgetting to adjust the camera up and down so you can get the right angle. You can kind of see there they put wood chips on this trail, like bark chip, ground up really, really fine to keep the weeds from growing up. I don't know if it's hard to mow, but that's how they're maintaining the grass there. Now it does make it super quiet to walk on. So if you were a bird watcher, ideal. They've been working on that for quite a while. There's still a huge pile of them bark chip. It's not really chips, it's more like shredded bark. But there's a huge pile up to the top here at the parking area where they've been working on this for quite a while. I have a very short stride, that's why it's so, I don't know, wompy back and forth so quickly. I have a very, very short stride because I'm a short guy. I'm just under 6 foot. And this is where it comes up to the little picnic area in the parking lot, and nice little shaded area if you get there first kind of deal. Across the way over there is where we came down. That little hill is what we were standing on, looking at the lake on the other side there. You can see the people there riding their bikes. Her chain actually fell off, and I'm almost glad I didn't get the audio because she was not happy. Neither was he, because he had to fix it. They didn't look like rental bikes either. They looked like they were straight out of Wally World with the plastic baskets and all. Yeah, you missed it. Off to the right there was that huge pile of shredded bark. I don't know if you've seen it or not. And this is the only part of the trail that is kind of not trail. But usually you end there and you get in your vehicle, but I don't. I continue back the way we came just to make my loop. But that little parking area is designed just for them, that trail right there. A lot of people come, after dinner and just want a quick walk. Basically what I'm doing right now. I could have continued on the pavement and crossed the road, but this is basically showing you all the little trails that connect. Well, we're about halfway through, oddly enough, right at this point, where we have to be turning around and going back. We're about halfway through with the video. There I am gawking down the road again, making it look good like I'm looking for traffic. That particular portion of the bike trail was just put in last fall, I think. No, maybe the fall before, because I think it was open last year. Yeah, it was open last summer. I could be totally wrong on that now that I keep thinking on it. This might be the first year it was actually open completely. It was a gorgeous day. The wind was whipping, probably 28 to 35 miles an hour, 72 to 74 degrees. It was a gorgeous day. No bugs because the wind was just whipping them into the lake. Yeah, perfect hiking day. Not a good video making day though. It would have been hell on the audio. Yeah, like I said, I'm primarily just doing this trail because of the hills. I need just to get movement in my hips. Between sitting on a lawnmower for 6 to 8 hours a day, and then when I'm not doing that, I'm sitting in my studio chair painting or sketching or drawing or something. So I'm sitting, or driving to get to work and driving home from work, always sitting. So I really needed this right here, as well as the fresh air and the scenery, but I needed movement in the ball joints. There's a lot of trails way back in them woods. The bike trail is way back in there. It loops around that lake, and another one to the left of it. Goes all the way back up in there, the bike trail that you just seen. There, I just adjusted the camera again, so I'll probably go back and forth one more time. I just seen it drop down a little bit. I must say, to all the people in charge of the roads at Glendalough State Park, the main road is horrible. It's got relief cracks in it, and they're getting, I don't know, it seems like they're getting bigger and bigger. They're so annoying when you drive on the main road. It's like, oh my God. And it's the whole way in. But anyway, rant over. Right here, what I'm doing is I'm keeping my posture as perfectly straight up and down as I can. And just using my legs, keeping my back and my upper body, torso still. And really just working the ball joints in my legs, my hips. Taking long strides to really open up the joints a little bit, let them breathe. It's a steep downhill, and if you keep your back straight up and down on that, you'll really stretch out your lower back on your steps down. You can almost feel me doing that. The way the video is going, you can tell I'm almost perfectly straight up and down erect. Really stretching that lower back out in every stretch. We'll have to climb back through this again. That's a good way to get ticks on you right there. You spend too much time wiggling your way through fallen timber like that. And on most normal days, I would take the left here and go back to the van and drive home. But on this particular day, I had a little bit more oomph in me, So I decided to walk down to the beach area, beach picnic area, I should say. And that extended this video another 15 minutes. This is a real easy cool down, especially after that good stretch coming down that incline. This is a long straight trail that just goes around the edge of the lake here, heads over to those trees directly in front of you where the picnic area is. On a good day, you'll find a good layer of goose poop. They like to come in and off the lake there and squat right on that trail. I suppose, you know, they don't get tickled by a little bit of grass. Well, I must say, for a no-edit voiceover, this is going pretty well. Hope I'm not rambling too much for you guys. I'm trying not to do that. Every once in a while, I'll stop and I'll turn and give different views. They make great thumbnail pictures. Oh, you can tell my camera shut off and on. Every once in a while, when the camera gets hot, it'll shut down for 15 seconds and then turn back on. That time it only did it for about 3 seconds. So you can tell I haven't pre-watched this because I just happened to notice that little bleak in the video and I knew exactly what happened. I don't use GoPros, but GoPros are really notorious for it. They'll shut off and not come back on. Didn't realize how long this trail looks. It's really not that long. It's probably not even 100 yards, maybe. But for some reason it just seems so long from this view. You could see that grass whipping. The audio would have never come out. I didn't do a whole lot of talking while I was hiking on this one because I was really focusing on just breathing through my nose and keeping my steady pace. There are so many deer in this state park. A lot of deer. And you can see them any time of the day. They're so used to people. A big old tree right there we're walking by. I'll show you on the way back out. A beaver cut that down. I mean, and it's a big tree. We're almost there. Once we get into the trees, we're actually into the picnic area. There's a lot of shaded area for people to hang out, but there's not a lot of shaded area to park. It's one thing I never understood about this particular park is they don't have any shade areas to park your vehicles in. In fact, all the parking lots are in the wide open sun. You can start to see the building up there. That's more of the big family. I mean, there's probably, I don't know, you can count them when we get up there. I walk right through them. There's a bunch of picnic tables up under that. I mean, you could put a lot of families, or if you had one big, huge family, yeah, no problem. Or if you just wanted to stay in the shade all day. But straight down there, through those trees, you can kind of see it down to the right there. That's the beach area. I'm telling you now, just so you can, oh, another fallen tree. A lot of deer come right through there, that little lowland swamp. But yeah, you can see there's a bunch of tables there. I think 2, maybe 3 rows thick. Yeah, 3 rows thick, the whole length of the building. I mean, you can have quite the gathering here. There's a bathroom right straight across there. No, it's not a flushing, it's just an outdoor toilet. That's the beach down there. And with respect to all the women and the children, I did not go closer to the beach and put them on camera. So instead we walked down here and checked out this fallen tree. We get some pretty crazy straight line winds here in Minnesota. I mean, that's a straight pole tree and it knocked it over. There's no wide branches fanning out to catch the wind. That was ready to go. There wasn't much root bound on that one. Another screenshot. Yep, the beach is right down there. Kind of see it down through there. There's a boat right there just ahead. There's a fallen tree right in front of us, and then off a little bit further, there's a boat right there that you can. That's the rescue boat. In case somebody swims out there too far. Not sure if that's ever happened or if that's just something state parks have to have on hand. Good idea. Yeah, right there. Coming, that's what I'm talking about, but obviously I just didn't let it play because of the wind, but right there, looking straight down through there is where the deer come through. I've seen so many of them. And they come right along that edge of the woods. You can hear my cat in the background. She's looking out the window again. Well, if you made it this far, thank you, for one. But if you're interested in hiking any of the trails here, this is Galendalo State Park, just outside of Battle Lake, Minnesota. You find Battle Lake You found Glendalough. The bike trail actually is connected to the town of Battle Lake. Now I'm coming up on this tree here, and I'm going to give you a good view of it. I go by it, and then I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Look at this thing. I mean, that's crazy. The wind eventually pushed it over, but yeah, sat there for a long time all gnawed up like that until it finally got tumbled by the wind. Now that's going to be a great bedding area back in there where all those branches laid down. Big deer laying there. Now in the early spring, this particular trail right here will get wet and sloppy because it's a little bit lower. It's actually lower than the lake. If I scan to the left there, you would see the lake is actually a little bit higher than the ground you're walking on right there. And you can see kind of right there, we're gradually coming up out of it. But there's a lot of the trails in this park in the early spring. You should be prepared foot-wise. Warm socks, water-resistant shoes, good traction. It'll get muddy. Some trails they'll close on you, but not all of them. This park's not known for that. It's not a real busy park on the trails for hiking. People come here for other reasons. All the water sports they come here for. All us old timers come here to walk the trails. You can see the winds are really whipping there. That cluster of trees right there, that's just perfect for deer to be bedding. They're probably in there right now, just watching me walk by. It looks far away, but it's closer than it looks on camera. Yeah, I got to do a lot more of this, that's for sure, because I felt a lot better after doing this walk. Like I said, I'm not much for keeping track of distance, or I don't keep any records or anything like that of anything. I just go walk. You know, if I walk a long distance that day, that was because I felt good. But I got to start doing it a little more, that's for sure. This particular park is on the way home, so I really have no excuses. I can't use the excuse, anything with trails is too far away. You know, after work I don't really want to go there. I can't use that excuse. This park is literally 15 to 20 minutes away from my house. I used to ride my mountain bike here, and then ride the mountain bike, or ride the bike loop, then ride into the town, get some food, ride back up to the park, and then ride back home from the park. I do none of that now. I work too much. And that's probably the lamest excuse ever. I don't have time, I work too much. I hate that excuse. I hate using that excuse. I hate that I can use that excuse. And we'll take another peek here off the... Well, we had another little camera glitch. How about that for timing? Yeah, there's days I'll be out fishing. I'll just turn the camera on and leave it on, and it'll be a 2 hour long video, but it'll be in 15 and 16 minute long segments. Because the kick camera keeps shutting off for 4 to 5 seconds, turning back on. Well, we're going to jump the log here, and we're going to close this one out because I do believe right up around the corner here is the van. So if you made it this far, thank you for coming along. It was a great hike. And there's the van. See ya.